first YouTube video.
We're on.
If she wakes up to feed, we're gonna have to take a time out. We had a
have a
baby.
baby.
This is going to be, praise God, a very positive, all natural birth story. Success.
Huge.
We did it.
You did so good with mommy.
I think at the end of this video, I want to talk about the things I did to prep my body and the things I'm convinced really helped. But I'll just say at the forefront, you need a doula. It's not even negotiable. It was a game changer having her, and obviously Andre doing the counter pressure and everything, but you would not know what to do if it wasn't for her.
For sure.
Are you in the frame?
I think so.
Ear is cut off.
My ears cut off?
Yeah.
How about now?
Oh, the top of your head is cut off. Hold on.
Let's go back and share.
Wait, okay, so doula and primrose oil, but I'll explain. And
You're spilling the tea. Just
okay, we'll leave it for the end. All my tips on how to have a natural birth will be at the end.
when was she born and how did it all go down?
Easter Sunday at 3 a.m. I'd been having cramps for the past like 3 weeks, but I woke up at 3 a.m. on Easter Sunday and this was more intense. For like 30 minutes, I just kind of like was in my zone, like trying to figure out too, like, is this just the cramps I've been having? But after 30 minutes, I was like, I'm gonna need Andre's help. And then I woke you up.
Well, you said your cramps were going into your back, which
Yeah, I forgot
was
about
a sign of progression.
Of it being like contractions instead of the Braxton Hicks that I'd been having. Then I woke him up and honestly, they were intense. They were like, we were timing them and they were like 4 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, 2 minutes apart at one point. They were like all over the place. Back to back. And I needed his help just with like counter pressure on my sacrum.
We knew that she was coming that day. It was like
either
either that day or the following early morning, but
yeah,
we knew it was like, all right, it's time to get ready. She's coming.
I
Cancel
told
all
you,
of
I
our
was like,
plans. We're not going to church. We're
not
going to the
church.
hospital.
You packed your hospital bag because all you had was chonies in there.
Right.
All of a sudden, Andre's finally packing his bag. And I was like, cut up the fruit, which we like. I literally didn't eat anything at the hospital.
Cut up all the fresh fruit, packed all the snacks. Her car seat, installed it. Both of our carry-ons, just like full on.
Yeah, got everything ready to go. And at one point, I got in the shower and things like really ramped up in the shower, where they were literally 2 minutes apart.
3:30 a.m.
to around 6.
to 6 a.m. you're having contractions.
Yeah, pretty consistently.
And then 6 a.m. things slow down.
Well, I literally had this thought, oh my gosh, it's 420. Like the date is 420 and I do not want a 420 baby because if you don't know, like 420 is basically, it's a day about weed. And that was literally my thought in my mind, like, this is not going to be my daughter's birthday.
You told me it was Bob Marley's birthday.
Which is not confirmed. I looked that up later.
You guys can tell us if it's true or not, but...
No, I Googled it.
That made me stoked. I'm like, well, that would be cool. Like, he's kind of a legend.
Yeah, you were all for it.
Yeah.
I literally think that so much of labor is mental because when I was having this thought, like, she cannot come today, like, my contractions pretty much tapered off, like not stopped completely, but they chilled out a ton, enough so that we both went back to sleep.
Yeah. Which
was great because we had a very long night ahead of us, so we got to just rest.
Yeah, which that was our priority, was that, okay, we know labor starting, like we have to prioritize rest and nourishment. So it was like, let's make sure you get the most rest that you can, your body's relax, and that make a healthy, nourishing meal before.
Because that was like the game plan. Like our doula was like, especially for your first baby, like labor is very long, and for early labor, like just be in this mentality of like rest, chill at home. And basically our plan was to go to the hospital very last minute. We woke up at around like 10ish and we were like, we're not going to church. There's no way. Because even when like the contractions were maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes apart at this point, but I had to like breathe through them. And then I'm like, I'm not gonna have my water break in the middle of service. Like,
totally. I mean, you're full on having early labor, like contractions, you know?
Yeah.
So we needed to stay put. Be ready to roll out in case things get dicey.
You made a really good lunch.
Made a really good lunch.
Yeah.
It was like grass-fed steak, black beans, rice.
Yeah, that was bomb. Which was literally my last meal.
Yeah. We had a bolo de rolo, guava cake.
Aqui, bolo de rolo.
Aí. Bom é almoçar um feijãozinho e depois, olha, bolinho de rolo. É, com um cafezinho já já. Aqui é direto da fonte, viu, pai? Pernambuco, meu povo.
That was good.
I was just chilling. I like did my nails. I wanted my nails to be cute. I put on press-on nails. FaceTimed my friend V and Alyssa, and we just like chatted. And then when a contraction came, I would literally mute the phone because I was like, I don't know. It just felt vulnerable. I was just like on my birth ball and stuff. So we were literally chilling until around 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Yeah.
I was on my birth ball, and it was like I peed myself. It was like this little like gush of like water, and I just like looked at Andre like, I think I just peed myself, because I thought when your water breaks it's this big gush like that goes all over the floor and it's a dramatic scene. But
and
this
I
was...
heard a little pop.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I told you. I was like, wait, I heard that.
Oh, see all the details. I don't remember.
And then you checked yourself and...
Yeah, my underwear was like soaked. So then I changed my underwear, and then I like got up at one point like from a chair, and it happened again. So then I was like, all right, I'm about to just put a diaper on because I'm not about to be like changing my underwear a million times. So then I put like the postpartum diapers on, and we were chilling for another maybe like an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I checked it, and it was kind of looking greenish. I didn't know if that was normal or not, so I texted a photo to my doula, and she was like, yeah, we need to go to the birthing center. Like, we need to go to the hospital because that doesn't look normal. Like, it should be clear. So then we were like, shoot, okay, like change of plans, because our plan was just chill as long as possible until my contractions were like 3 minutes apart. So then we just like left, and it was super chill, but then I had 4 contractions in the car.
We kind of rushed out. We were like,
yeah,
as soon as she said like, oh, you guys should go to the hospital, get that checked, we were like, okay, we're going, we're packing. We kind of knew that we weren't going to come back home.
Yeah,
because once they admitted you, they would want to keep you there. That's when I started to get nervous.
You got
and
nervous.
Like,
oh my gosh, I remember, because like the plan, you have to like call the hospital to tell them that you're coming
to reserve the room, and I was like, my wife, she's having contractions. Like,
no, you literally were like, hi, and then you just like gave me the phone. You were like, I don't know what to say. Well, then you have a nursing pillow on right now.
It's so comfortable.
In the car, I got really emotional because I was like, oh my gosh, we're about to meet our daughter. And then we like filmed that little video being like, we're picking up our daughter.
Yeah.
Well, we're on our way to pick up our daughter.
Oh boy, I'm not nervous. Are you nervous?
You're nervous. You're more nervous than me. You were calling the hospital. You didn't even know what the heck you were saying.
You know, it's friggin'... I was worried about you. Partiu ao hospital. Buscar a menina. A última viagem de carro sem ela. Last car drive.
Oh.
By herself.
Hungry?
She sleeps so much. She's just like me.
No, she's chilling and looking cute for her first YouTube video. For her debut. So then we get to the hospital. They put me in a wheelchair. And I feel like everyone at that point was like, oh, she's chilling. Like, she must not be that far along. So we get to the hospital around 7. They put us in triage to basically check me if my water did break and test the color and everything. I was having some contractions, like in the bathroom, I had a really big one.
Totally, things were escalating like the whole time.
And then they put me on the monitor to check her heart rate and to check my contractions, and she was like, you're having contractions every 3 to 4 minutes. And I was just kind of chilling. Like every so often there would be one where I would have to like breathe and focus, but we were shocked by that. So they tested it and they were like, yeah, so the greenish tinge is baby pooped in the womb, which is lovely. apparently it can happen. Either the baby's just like super developed and ready to come out, or they're in distress. But her heart rate was like totally normal. So she was chilling. She wasn't stressed. She was just ready to come out.
She made it clear that she's a pooper.
Yeah, and she's been pooping ever
She's
since.
been since.
Really loading up that diaper genie. Then they called my midwife. I had 3 different midwives, and one was my favorite. Her name was Julie, and she was the one that was on call, and I was so happy when she was the one on the phone. So she basically told me if I don't progress in my labor naturally, since she had meconium, like she pooped in the womb, they would have to, like after several hours, they would have to start to do like Pitocin and induction and things like that, just because it's an infection risk. So that changed. I also had to get consistent fetal monitoring instead of intermittent. Before, I would have had them check her heart rate every 30 minutes, but just to check that she was like okay and doing well, I had to have the monitor on at all times. And the third difference and change to my birth plan was that now they couldn't check how dilated I was.
That was tricky.
That was the hardest. The monitoring too was really
Which I feel like it kind of play for our benefit in a way.
In the long run.
That like not knowing like how far along we were kind of made us just like go until you physically can't.
Right.
Which I feel like you just stretched yourself to the max, and that just kind of like took you so far into being ready to transition, to push.
Yeah.
Technically, that's what happened.
So basically when Julie told me that, like, if you don't progress naturally, we'll have to intervene, I feel like I mentally was like, game on, like,
Right.
We're having this baby. It's time to feed. I'll feed her before she gets like fuzzy.
All right, pause.
We're back on.
Multitasking is really real.
Bella was hungry.
After my doula said, basically, if you don't progress on your own, we're gonna have to intervene because of the infection risk. Mentally, I went from like, I'm not having a 420 baby to I'm definitely not having intervention. So game on, let's do this thing. Let's have this baby.
Yeah.
And again, I think labor is like so mental because you either allow your body to go there and like trust your body, or I feel like you can just like freeze up and freak out. So
you can like avoid the pain and kind of like stall it and run away from it versus like embracing the pain,
it. Yeah.
and really like going
Not
with
the
it.
pain, the sensations.
The sensations.
That's another thing is we learn not to say pain because then of course you're gonna not embrace pain. The contractions are sensations.
There's a lot of language
Yeah.
like adaptions that
It really does help because it's like mentally teaching you like, this is natural, this is nothing to fear, this is something your body and your baby are working together to do to bring your baby into this world, and your body knows exactly what it's doing, and your mind and everything just needs to work in tandem. So we get into the room at around 8. They're asking a million questions. They're like doing intake, and I'm like having these gnarly contractions.
like almost 2 hours of like questions.
Like an hour.
It felt really long. I'm like, sheesh.
I felt like I had a lot of patience in that moment because
In a way, it was kind of distracting, so I think
maybe you're right.
it was fine.
We were doing like the peanut ball in between my legs, and I was shaking. I remember I was shaking really bad.
Yeah.
And they gave me an IV, which I don't like needles, but also I felt like it was in the wrong position, and I don't know if that made me throw up.
I had nauseous with the needle.
Oh, I got really lightheaded.
Yeah.
That's right.
You threw up.
Yeah, so then I went to the bathroom to pee. Okay, so keep in mind before this, like at the house when we were chilling, I ate like a ton of watermelon.
So much happens
So
in labor. It's like, there's just like no shame. You gotta,
Oh, you're full on naked. You're just, I don't know. And all the nurses, it's like, they see it every day. So they're not weird about it. So then you're just like, I don't know, you're just so comfortable being naked. But like looking back, it was so primal and so exposing. Why are you laughing? You're not going to out me about the throwing up. I'm not saying that. Stop.
like a symphony in the bathroom. Oh my god. I'm I'm not gonna put you on blast.
Don't put me on blast. There's some parts of this story that stays between us.
Woo. This channel could really go in places.
Andre! I'm like on the toilet peeing with Andre in the bathroom. And I like looked at him like, I'm gonna throw up. And I think I tried to tell you, like, there was a trash can right next to me.
Okay, but the trash can next to you was like this, like,
Metal
hazard.
bin.
It was like this, I don't even know if I could pick up that thing.
You could have picked it up. So then Andre like leaves and it's like, do you guys have a barf bag? And then blue, like I just like vommed everywhere. And keep in mind, I just had a ton of watermelon. So it is like red and there's seeds. And it's all over your shoes.
It was a lot. It like flooded the bathroom floor. It's like, wow. Like,
and the nurses, like, one nurse and my doula just came in and they're like, it happens all the time, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, does it really, though? Okay, another thing was the whole time you were trying to get me to eat. And I thought it was so annoying. I was like, I'm not freaking hungry. Like, that's the last thing I can do right now is, like, eat. But you were so concerned that I hadn't eaten since, like, 12.
yeah, I mean, it's my job, you know? Need to make sure you're
Nourished. Oh, so another thing, when they checked me, Bella was spine to spine, which is like post-anterior position, which is really painful to labor in. And so my doula was like, we're about to do like some inversions and stuff like that to get her. So her spine would be like on my stomach. So she was having me do some crazy positions. Like she would like raise the bed. So my knees were on the bed and then I had my arms on a chair down below. So it was like kind of like my butt was like in the air, which just to fast forward, she did turn. So that was crazy. Like,
yeah, she flipped.
Yeah, she was head down, but she just needed to like rotate.
So that was from 8 to about midnight.
Yeah. And then I was like dying to get into the tub.
Yeah. They had to switch your monitor for you to get into the bathtub.
Yeah. So it was like a waterproof one. Dude, the monitor was so annoying because
so
like
annoying.
they could not get her heart rate, like the position. You'd have to like keep it. You literally have to hold it in position. And I swear it made the contractions worse, like putting pressure on it. And then, so in the bathtub, you literally held it for like an hour.
Yeah, I had my hand. I was just holding this monitor the whole time because like the nurse like strapped it, the monitor, but it was not tight enough to like get the baby's heartbeat. Yeah. So I had to like push against your belly. So it was. And
then I couldn't even really get into a different position. Like I had to be leaned back in the tub, which wasn't the best.
It was like annoying, but it also wasn't anything
It was also kind of nice to hear her heartbeat the whole time. We were in the tub for like what, like an hour? I was in the tub, you guys were like on the side. You definitely could not have fit in that tub with me.
No.
You like brought your swim trunks just in case.
So it was like you in the tub, me out of the tub holding the monitor, and then the doula next to me was assisting you with the counter pressure, and also assisting me with things like water for you, like whatever you needed. It was a teamwork.
And we had my like birth playlist on, and they had a salt lamp and little tea lights, so it was just like very dark in there and very like, I don't know, it was very nice. But the music like really helped.
It was definitely relaxing.
It was relaxing. I don't know.
Amazon guy.
Okay, there was this girl next door and she was screaming her head off. Like right when we got in the room, she was like screaming. That for me kind of messed me up because I didn't know how far along I was. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, is she at a 9 or a 10, like 10 centimeters and I'm at like a 2 or 3? Because the whole time I wasn't making a whole bunch of noise. Like I would like groan occasionally, I feel like,
You're
but
just breathing like deep.
I would like be breathing out like a ton, and it's very much in my head and like staying focused and stuff. So then I'm hearing her like scream her head off and I'm like, is that what's coming? Like, am I gonna be screaming in a few hours? I like must not be that far along. Yeah. So, but I was like, it was intense. So I didn't know how much longer I could do it.
I think the entire hospital could hear that lady. She was like yelling so loud. You could tell that she was like rooms down the hall, like so far away.
She was like,
Sheesh.
I know. She was not in control.
Push that baby, girl.
And we were in the tub for like about an hour, and I was like, guys, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like, I feel like I've been laboring really hard, and like, I just need to know how far along I am.
It definitely, like, it made you more relaxed. I think it alleviated.
For sure. The tub helped a lot.
But
it still felt like I was having really strong contractions.
Right. It just got to a point that, like, you're, like, getting tired. You're, like, you know, it's late in the night. You're, like, start to get sleepy, and you're, like, your body's just, like...
But mainly it was just mentally, like, how far along am I? Like, I just needed to know, like, how much longer I had just to mentally know where I was at. I told my nurse, I was like, I gotta get checked. My midwife came in, and then she's like, you guys look so cozy in here. How are we doing? Like, she's just so peaceful. And I was like, Julie, I'm dying. Like, please check me now. She's like, well, let's get you on the bed, you know. And then Kat, my doula, was like, let's get you on the toilet one last time, because that's when you labor the hardest. I don't know why, but when you're on the toilet, like, the contractions are so intense. So, why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because when you sat on the toilet, you're like backwards, so you're facing the wall.
Yeah.
And you have your arms on the toilet flush. So it's like...
It kept flushing.
It kept flushing like every 30 seconds.
I would like push down, like, and then it would flush.
I was like trying to hold you and trying to hold the handle so you wouldn't flush that thing so much.
God.
But I was like, who cares? Just
flush away.
Flush it. So funny.
So then Julie leaves to go with the screaming girl, and I'm like getting myself on the bed to be checked, and then my nurse is like, well, I can check you. She checks me, but she's like not confident about it.
She got it wrong. Like, it wasn't accurate. She just tapped it.
Yeah.
And she
and
told
I could
us,
feel the difference because like later on Julie checked me, and Julie was like way deeper. But yeah, so she checks me and she's like, I think you're at a 6. And I remember I just rolled on my side and I just like stared into the abyss and was like, I'm screwed. Like, I am screwed.
Yeah.
Because they say to like dilate per centimeter is like an hour to 2 hours per centimeter. So I knew like I have like at least 4 more hours and I cannot make it.
Right.
Like, there is no way I'm gonna have to tap out. It's like I was just like talking such a big game about going natural. In my head I was like, I'm gonna be such a shame. Like, I'm gonna have to tell all my friends I wimped out, like all this stuff. This is literally what's going through my mind.
I know. We kind of just rallied, me, the nurse, doula, and we were like trying to encourage Alex.
Yeah.
Like, you've come this far, you're doing great, I think you can do it.
Yeah, the nurse was like, I've seen a lot of women like go really quick from here.
Yeah.
And then I remember we had a code word before, like if I really had enough, then if I said like enough is enough, then you would be like, okay babe, get the epidural. We
like,
kind of had a game plan, like
you kind of told me.
Unless I say that, no, I didn't. I never used the code word.
You didn't use the code, but you said like, babe, I don't think I can do it anymore.
No, but the plan was, unless I say enough is enough, just keep encouraging me to let go for it.
Yes.
But
that really got me, because I was like, dang, like, I feel it, you know? I'm like, if I'm exhausted, I can't even imagine how exhausted you must be.
So then I stand up, right? My doula was like, let's just do a couple more positions. I stand up, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I need to poop. And then all the nurses like looked at each other right away, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's not poop, like that's the baby's head.
So Julie, the midwife, was like, well, that's really good news, let me check you again. She puts on her gloves and checks you.
Yeah, and then she was like, you're 10 centimeters, like you're ready to push. And I was like, are you sure? Like, I did it. And she's like, you did it.
That's when things got really emotional, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when she felt the baby's head, it was like, oh, you're ready to push. All of a sudden, it was just like a breakthrough in the room, and
I know, thank God.
We were all just like, wow, like, she did it, it's happening.
I was shocked.
It's like,
because imagine literally she checked me 30 minutes before, and she said I was 6 centimeters, and then all of a sudden I'm pushing.
All these nurses are rushing into the room with like these tools and all these machines, and just getting the room ready for baby
Bella. So I was on all fours, Andre was like at my shoulder and I was like gripping him for dear life. And then it just felt like a ton of pressure, but my doula said like basically you shouldn't have to push because that's like what makes you tear. Just like let your body basically push the baby out. And that's exactly what happened. Like my body was like, I couldn't help it. Like my body was just like bearing down and with each contraction, and she came out in like 15 minutes. Once her head was out, it was like bloop, like it was just like straight relief. And then like Julie like put her in between my legs, so she was like on the bed looking up at us.
Oh, sweetness.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, happy birthday.
I like quickly counted her fingers and her toes just to make sure they were all there.
I was sobbing. I was like,
Yeah, you
crying
were
so
sobbing.
much.
I was just in shock, like that I did it.
Oh, we love you. We love you. Oh, come on. We have a baby.
And I got to cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah, I was like holding Bella's hands when they cut it.
She's so small.
You deliver the placenta, which
Inspected
by the
my
way
dad.
was massive and juicy. Like,
Should we show it?
yeah, why
Maybe
not?
we should do like a little like, if you don't want to see it, then click to
Skip
this time.
part.
But yeah, that thing was huge. And that felt like straight relief when it came out.
Yeah.
And we started nursing.
Sucking on your finger? Huh? You are cute, you know that?
She's really cute.
Yeah, these first 2 hours are for you and her to bond. For us to get her started on breastfeeding.
It was just like the most surreal feeling ever. And honestly, I would do it again tomorrow. Like right after I gave birth, I was like, I would do that again.
Yeah.
It was so fun and empowering and like such a challenge, but so doable. And it's just a really surreal feeling. So highly recommend.
Yeah. So that was at 2:26 a.m.
Yeah. So we got out of the bath at like 1. I got checked. And then maybe it was like 45 minutes later, then Julie checked me. And now she's here.
421st.
Yeah, and it was not 420. That's really the testimony in all this, is she is not a 420 baby. 421 by 2.5 hours.
Postpartum recovery has been incredibly natural and smooth. And
Yeah, I didn't tear, which is amazing, which I have to give credit to the perineal massages. If you don't know, you need to look it up. So we did that from 37 weeks every other night, and I'm convinced that's why I didn't tear.
I really mastered it. I was all up in
The
there.
6-minute routine.
Oh my goodness.
The recovery is already pretty crazy. I can't imagine tearing because you're bleeding a ton and you're just sore and swollen and stuff.
It was very powerful. It was just beyond what we could have
Perfect.
planned.
Oh,
we're
and the
extremely
song that
grateful.
was playing when she came out was Great Are You Lord.
Yeah.
That was a sweet touch. And I'll insert here at the end just some tips and things that I think really helped in having a natural birth. But that's our story, how we got sweet Bella, and thanks for watching. Okay, currently nursing again, but just thought I would close out this video and share the things that I really do believe helped me. One, go into labor naturally, and I was 2 days before my due date. And ultimately it was a really quick labor, especially for my first. From the moment I started having contractions and lost my mucus plug, that was around 3 a.m. the day before. So it was about 24 hours total, but active labor was about 6 hours, and that was really quick. Total, I would say I was really laboring around 9 hours. So pretty quick for a first-time mama. I really believe that primrose oil, I really believe that helped soften my cervix. Every time I would take it, I would have cramps. And when I got checked the week before, she said I was incredibly soft, and that just helps you dilate a lot faster.
I really do believe that helped a ton. I went on walks every single day. I stayed active. I did a bunch of stretches and the mile circuit. And then for not tearing, we did the perineal massage. If you don't know what it is, look it up. We did that since 36 weeks every other night, and I did not tear. So definitely recommend that. And again, I just have to highlight, get a doula. It is not a want, it's a need. She made my experience so incredible, seamless, gave me so much confidence just in the appointments that we had before, just really got my headspace in the right place. And the counter pressure made the contractions very bearable and very doable. So cannot recommend enough. And then also with her just knowledge of getting me in the right positions, she helped rotate my baby. So she was the ideal position to birth in. And yeah, she was absolutely incredible. So cannot recommend those things enough for a very positive birth experience. I also used the labor combs, so shout out to that. That definitely helped, but it wasn't the counter pressure was number one for sure. So thank you again for watching, and I would love to hear your comments below of your birth experiences and any questions you might have. Okay, love you guys.